The top dog. Celebrating yet another victory Monday. Okay, go ahead. I know it's your favorite question. What were you up to yesterday?
Boy, I tell you what, you're right. I am so happy right now. Happy today. I mean, anytime we can get a win, and Gab, I know you already know this, but with Pittsburgh losing, obviously, I think it was Thursday night, right? They played Thursday night game. With Pittsburgh losing, that bumped us up 2 spots. So, and for us to go out and play a team with their quarterback, talking about Trevor Lawrence, who I was hoping that he did not play because I didn't want to see him. When you looked at what happened to his ankle in that game last week, it was just crazy. I didn't think he was going to play, but he played, and we still did what we did to this football team. So I'm very, very excited and happy today, and we're gonna jump into all this and break this down a little bit later. But yesterday. What were you going to ask me?
I was just going to say, how many Christmas sales did you have yesterday? Well, I know your birthday's creeping up. So.
Well, it was really exciting yesterday. I did drink a few at the game. You know, I jumped in my Uber and I was at the stadium. I have to be there like really early. It's crazy. I was there. I get there probably about before 9 o'clock.
No kidding.
Because I have all this stuff to do, work, shows, and then afterwards, you know.
Did you still get your elliptical? No, you're off on Sundays.
I'm off on Sunday. Yeah. I don't do it on Sundays. But and then what I did was I visited a few suites, and then I can go down and I can relax a little bit and try to watch the game. But did you see what happened to me yesterday?
Yes, I did. If you didn't check out Hanford's Instagram, check out the video. They surprised you with a little early birthday cake.
They did. And did you tell them where they can catch that on my Instagram? You tell them my...
Oh, sorry. I'm the mouthpiece for you now. Hanford Dixon Official. That's his Instagram handle, at Hanford Dixon Official. On the gram.
But I'm sorry to give you a hard time. But on a serious note, that was pretty cool what they did.
Yeah.
They shocked me because obviously my birthday is coming up. And, you know, it seemed like a lot more people than it really was. It was probably about 10, 12, 15 people. And they came up and they had this cake for me. And they were all singing happy birthday. And everybody gathered around. And it was a really, really big deal. And I was wondering, I was talking to them. I said, hey, my birthday is not... today. I said, my birthday is Christmas Day. And they said, yeah, we know. We just wanted to get it out of the way. And I didn't even know. But I should have known something was going on because they kept asking me all these crazy questions like, how long am I going to be here? Don't leave yet. Stick around a little bit.
Okay.
And I should have known something was coming up or they had something planned. But it was really exciting yesterday. And plus, I like to go to the game because you get a chance to see all your boys at the game, and we all just go and kick it for a little bit. Like I said, I had a few Christmas ales, and it was that Christmas ale, boy, I tell you, it is something else. You have to really be careful with those things.
Christmas ale for Christmas,
They will take you out. And what were you drinking yesterday?
I was drinking... well, you know, I'm trying to plug our sponsors here.
Okay, well,
so,
so
I'm going to say I was
but you
drinking
had
that.
you had a drink though. That's all that matters.
I did. I got club seats, tickets. This is the second time this season I've got spontaneous tickets like an hour before the game. Went and then we won. We won when I went and we beat the 49ers at home. And then this spectacular win. It was really cool. I got to bring my dad.
That was nice.
Yeah, he went a little like viral on he went semi-viral on Twitter, and then he kind of blew up on Instagram because he's just kind of a trip. Like, I post these videos. If you can't go to an NFL game with my dad, you're missing out because he's just there. He's got the dance moves, and he's got the in-game commentary that just cracks you up. And then finally, at the very end, I had my sister take a picture of us, and he just goes... He was so revved up. He's like, I'm pulling my shirt up because I was actually wearing a crop top. And then all of a sudden we were both channeling our Zeke Elliott moment. And he's just like, dad bod out here. And just the internet ate it up. And honestly, it was so spontaneous and hilarious. I was in full support of this. And he just had a ball. So basically my whole family, it was like but minus my mom, but my dad and my sister and her boyfriend were there. So we had a great time. We were opposite of you in the stadium.
I thought you were going to tell me that your dad did a David Njoku move because
Yeah.
the Njoku, I don't care how
It's
cold
been
it
a
is.
minute since we talked about his abs.
I don't care how cold it is. He's coming out with no shirt on. I mean, he is
Yes.
just. I'm like, man, come on, you're gonna be sick as a dog out there. Well, he is a dog. So
He is a dog.
and he had a great game. So
He
that's
did.
another one that
6
we
receptions
will.
for our guy. We'll get into it.
We will get into that. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have a couple guests on, aren't we?
We are going to have some guests on. Before we take our first break, shall we do our handshake? See if we can.
Yeah, we gotta.
This is the good juju
We gotta.
need.
We gotta get that going.
Come into my shot a little bit. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit the rock. Don't forget the elbow. Up top. Ooh. Okay. Thanks so much for watching the Hanford Dixon show.
You notice I have to concentrate on that little shake. I don't want to
really
mess
do.
up.
I'm like, is he going to count to 4
Yeah,
this
because
time?
if I mess up, you would really give me a hard time.
Thanks for watching. We're going to bring in a very special guest right after this break. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. I'm Gabriella Cruz. Hanford and I just chatting it up about what we were up to over the weekend for the Browns' big win against the Jaguars at home. And now we bring back a guest we have had on before. You're familiar with him. You're familiar with his sunglasses game. Former Browns linebacker, 7-year NFL vet out of Notre Dame where he was an All-American. And he's got his claim to fame, a proud football that he's got with him that he will show us, I'm sure, after recovering an onside kick, Browns versus Oilers, 1993. How about that for an intro? Please welcome Frank Stams.
Hey, Frank, tell us about that football, man. Let me see
Yeah,
it.
we
Where
know you
is
got it on
Tell us
hand.
about it. Tell us about it.
Listen, there is no gamesmanship with me, just hard, cold reality. This is an onside kick recovery I had in 1993. We were at the Oilers, and the game, it was a close game there at the end, and they certainly, with time running out, it was a one-possession game. They were down, and Belichick decided to go with a surprise onside kick. We've got the lead, and I'm playing, the 5, which is right there next to the place kicker. And this was no onside kick where you kick it to the towards the out of bounds and it bounces off some guy, or you get a sweet hop or anything like that. Ricochets off. This is an onside kick that I beat the opponent to. It just crossed the 10-yard line, or what had to be a minimum of 10 yards. And I covered this, and I'll tell you, man, I took so many shots to the back of the head. It was unbelievable. They just kept coming. I thought they damn near broke my neck. And I remember Clay Matthews was so excited that I came out of the scrum with the football. I mean, that was the most excited and most congratulatory he's ever been towards me. And, came on the field, and, then Belichick the next day in Cleveland recognized that. And I thought that was pretty cool. Not many people recover, especially lately with the new rules. There are not many of us in the NFL that can say they covered a recovered onside kick.
Well, I'm going to ask you this. I mean, each of us, and maybe this is yours, but we all have a memorable moment, one throughout our career, that we think about and we like to talk about. Is that yours, or is there another one?
No, that's just one I wanted to bring out for the show today. Thanks for having me on. Here's another one right here, brother. This is me. This is me sacking Jim McMahon. I don't know if you can see that.
Move it over just a little bit.
Move it over
to your
just a
left.
little bit. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Let me tell you something. That today would get me ejected in like a $250,000 fine. I came on a blitz. It was an ex-blitz. Pepper and I Johnson are playing middle backers, and they called an X. I go first in the opposite A. He comes around me in the opposite A to him, A gap. And I love the fact that I went first. And, of course, you see that was Jim McMahon playing for the Cardinals in those throwback uniforms. And I'll tell you, I see Jim every once in a while, and I keep wanting him to sign it, but he refuses to. So that's that's a proud moment of mine right there as well.
Frank, one of the stories that you haven't gotten a chance to tell us on air, but we did chat a little bit off air last time you came in studio, was you have a pretty funny story with Marty Schottenheimer, like going to play for him and the sit down that you had with him. Can you tell us that story?
Well, I don't have his. Thank you for bringing up that. I don't have nearly as many as Top Dog does, but I do have I do have one memorable to me. But when he was at Kansas City, and I'm looking for a team, I'm looking for a job to play for. I'm looking for a team to play for. And my agent Ralph Sindrich was good. He's a Pittsburgh guy. He was good friends with the player personnel guy out there at Kansas City. His name escapes me right now. But they got me an interview or a tryout. So I went out there and tried out. They put me through my paces. They said, okay, we like what you can do. We're going to sign you. I said, great. Can somebody take me back to the hotel? They said, oh, no. Well, Coach Schottenheimer meets with all the players before they sign him to a contract. I said, okay, great. So we went up to the second level of Arrowhead Stadium, and that's where his office was. And I go up there with a player personnel guy. And he opens the door to the suite, and I look inside. It's pitch dark. All you could see was the sun splashed, outside of Arrowhead Stadium. But I could see the guy. I could see Coach Schottenheimer's silhouette, and opposite him was an empty chair. I could see its silhouette. Obviously, that was meant for me. So I looked at the guy. He wasn't going in, and I realized I'm going in by myself. So I go in by myself and sit down. So it started out kind of, hey, we're bringing you on board. This is what we want to accomplish. But it soon turned into, Marty kept getting closer and closer and closer to me. And next thing you know, he's inches from my nose, and he's in this emotional state. He's half crying. He's spitting in my face. He's basically telling me he's on a mission from God to win the Super Bowl. And I thought to myself, what the hell have I signed up for here? But it ended shortly after that, and I decided I was with Kansas City for about 6 weeks before I returned to the Browns. That last year I played in '95, but that was awfully memorable. That short time I had with Coach Schottenheimer, I really loved his passion playing and coaching the football game.
I love any story about him. All your guys' stories about him.
Well, I can't let Frank talk about my coach. Shotsy baby, I call him. But Shotsy, I tell you what, he was a strange coach, and he was different. Frank, let's talk about this game for a minute, big dog. What do you think? Were you surprised, or did you?
No, I had the Browns. I liked them. I liked them. Initially I didn't like him, but then when I saw Trevor Lawrence was hurt, and I too was surprised that he was going to play. But I still like the Browns going into the game. Their defense plays really well at home, and we saw the stats that bear that out. I mean, they're just flipping outstanding at home, and they shut down. I mean, they controlled the line of scrimmage. The Jags in my opinion, had no run game whatsoever. They pressured Trevor Lawrence, defensive backs. I thought for what they needed, for the adversity that they experienced yesterday, I thought they played really well defensively. They got some bad breaks with the offense turning the ball over, giving them a short field, but I thought the defense played outstanding. And Flacco, I mean, what more can you say about him? I mean, my God, I mean, he had better numbers at halftime than Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. And he just, he just managing the game. I really, what a great, what a great story that is, thinking that he's going to get with a team and staying in shape and being ready for the call. And he got the call. And I'll tell you, it's perfect. I think it's a great fit for the Browns. And he's the type of quarterback that you want to fill in there and really make a run at the playoffs.
You know what? I agree with you, because there's no way we can go back to one of those other quarterbacks. I mean, you look at this football team. Can you guys believe we've had 4 different starters? at quarterback on this football team. I mean, that is absolutely insane. But I guess that tells you about all the injuries and everything that could happen. Frank, I want to ask you about this guy, JOK. I mean, obviously, undersized guy. I would say he's probably 220, 225, 230 wet. I mean, but he just make plays. I mean, he's all over the field. You could tell he's a very, very intelligent player. What do you think of his play and all the plays that he's making?
Well, I'm reminded on occasion of the great dodgeball coach and legend Patches O'Houlihan that said,
I didn't have a dodgeball reference on my bingo card today, but I'm prepared.
now you do.
Yes.
Patches would always say, trust your instincts and rely on your training. And JOK, all those backers, those guys, especially JOK. I mean, you talk about great instincts. You don't want to ever guess, and you know this as a defensive player, and it's all about reaction. You don't ever want to guess, but you want to anticipate. And and you couple that with the proper preparation, watching film, and seeing what their tendencies are, knowing where what their favorite runs are, what they're going to do in certain formations. The guy is putting it all. Those backers, they're putting it all together, and they've got great instincts, great reaction. What backers do today now differently, back in the day, a lot of times we'd be a little tougher on linemen. We'd go up in contact and then get to the ball. Now it's you want to avoid everything and get to the ball, and I like that. That's the number one job of a defense is who gets to the ball fastest, and those guys are getting to the ball fast. And they did a great job of containing Trevor Lawrence yesterday, and they do a great job of that second line of defense with the defensive line. They're not the biggest guys, so that, they're not the toughest guys against the run, but they get to the ball and they make their presence known.
And I could tell you this, Gab, Frank hit it right on the head. You could tell this team, you have to give Jim Schwartz a lot of credit, the defensive coordinator, because you could tell those guys watch a lot of film, and he hit it right on the head talking about the tendencies that they already know what's going to happen or what's coming at them or what play, regardless of what formation, because what offenses try to do, and Frank, you know this, they try to disguise what they're going to do. They're going to do the same thing, but what they'll do is they'll try to do it from a different formation to try to fool you or think they're fooling you, but you could just tell watching these guys and some of the plays they're making. They know what the play is going to be pretty much before the play starts. But what I can't figure out, Frank, is they do all this at home. They're just outstanding defensively at home, and when they go on the road, they just lose it or something. What number one?
I wonder what's going. Yeah, I wonder what's going on the road. Is security? Is Cleveland Browns security doing their job? I know we had a security guy, Jim Davidson, that always screened all my calls and wouldn't let my friends get through to me.
Yeah, you cleaned that up. You cleaned that up real good, didn't you?
Damn, I thought
I caught that.
People were mad at me. And I thought people were mad at me. He's intercepting all the calls going to my room. Maybe these guys are, they're lacking security on the road. They're breaking curfew. They're doing all kinds of things maybe they shouldn't be doing. So, but yeah, no, it is crazy how well they play at home, and that's great. We just got to find a way to host the first playoff game. But here, to your point on Schwartz, and I'm glad you brought up Schwartz. And here's another thing, and this, Top Dog. I think you played, with a team when a team is, has got a lot of confidence. They're winning. They express some maturity. A good coach, all good coaches will let their players play, because players. Football player, I don't care, basketball players, tennis players, you're your own best coach. You need a coach that brings that and enhances that reinforces that encourages you to make all the great decisions that you're capable of making. You don't want to be a player, and all great, a lot of great quarterbacks have this. You don't want to be a player looking to your coach to see how to play football. I mean, this is it's the maybe in high school and college, but the professionals, the NFL, you've got it. And now you've got to put your stamp on it. And I think this is what Schwartz is. He's taken off some of the, what'd you say, reins, and saying, you guys just go out and play football. Don't worry about mistakes. We'll correct the mistakes, but just go out and play football. And I tell you, when the weight of when that weight of the world is lifted off your shoulders, not worrying about making mistakes, I mean, you got a whole nother attitude playing the game.
Frank, thanks so much for being with us. We've got to take a short break, but we'll be back. Stick with us. Thanks for watching the Hanford Dixon Show. We'll be back right after this. For Dixon Show, we are joined by Frank Stams. We'll bring him back virtually. Thank you for joining us. We actually, I wanted to talk about the officiating because we have multiple players who kicked off the week or the end of the week with some comments about the officials that will definitely get them fined, our Myles Garrett included. But I know Frank had some words about, as he says, crybaby Mahomes, that Bills-Chiefs game. Very interesting, especially because we've talked about Mahomes being someone who, him and his team have benefited greatly, I would say like over 90% of the time from officiating. But he was very irate this weekend. So what were your thoughts on that, Frank?
Well, no, what I'm thinking is Gerber ought to call Mahomes, and they can get like a baby formula commercial for him, because you definitely want to put that in his bag of commercials, because I couldn't believe it. Like you said, a guy that benefits at a position, and really, he himself benefits greatly from the officials' calls and the officials' protection. And man, I'll tell you, he's got the nerve to complain about just a black and white violation being offsides. He's got the nerve to say the officials need to keep their flags in their pocket. It just freaking blows me away.
Well, you know what's crazy? Now, you guys missing the whole thing. Okay, what Mahomes is really upset about, you remember when they played last week? I mean, they lost the game because it was definitely pass interference on the wide receiver, and they didn't call it. The guy kept his flag in his pocket, and as a result of that, they lost the game. So I think he obviously he went back to last week, and it all just, I mean, he just went off. Frank, did you see his wife got in on the act?
Yeah. So his wife is tweeting out that the most valuable player of the game for the Bills was the referee. Man, I tell you, they really need, I was around a coach one time, and he said, never miss the perfect opportunity to keep your mouth shut. And that, that's what they all need to practice out there, because, they may miss that call last week with Mahomes, the PI, the pass interference. But I'll tell you what, the flags won them the Super Bowl last year against the Philadelphia Eagles. So, I mean, he just needs to take it, in stride. I'm sure it's frustrating to lose, especially when the way they were going to win that game with that lateral from Kelsey was just incredible.
Hey.
And that probably hurts a little bit, but, just take it in stride. It all comes out in the wash.
Hey, Gab, one thing we know, I mean, it's a no-no to come out publicly and talk about the officials. I mean, they let us know that they don't want any part of it, and if we do it, we're going to be fined, and it's going to be a lot of guys. Myles Garrett, we talked about him. He's going to be fined.
I don't think he's going to get fined as highly as some other people, because his words weren't as egregious.
Well, I think they all start at about $25K. I think that's where it's going to start. Some of them maybe more. Mahomes, who knows what they're going to do with him, because he just went on and rant and raving. I mean, just really talking about the officials, and it's a no-no. They just don't put up with it. They're not going to stand for it, and regardless of whether the official was right or wrong, you can't do it. I mean, because they want to protect the game, the integrity of the game, and that's where, and they don't want anyone to say anything bad about it.
For you guys,
let me add this: the NFL has an officiating problem, because the guys, it seems like guys are just really kind of, I mean, they're pushing the envelope when it comes to, a lot of, penalties or infractions. And the NFL doesn't know what to do about it. I mean, I'm watching that Bills KC game. There must have been, of 9 plays I watched, 7 of them were flagged. I mean, they just can't, they got to find a solution to that. And, it's partly on the players, but, I think some of it's on the officials as well.
Well, I agree. And what they want to do is obviously they still want to speed the game up, but I don't care about the game being delayed if you're going to have to look at these calls as long as you get them right. That's all I care about. Just get them right. You can't have and again, I'm going to go back to last week, that pass interference call. If it's pass, and I'm a DB, I mean, if it's pass interference, you have to call it. But if it isn't, I like to see them not call it pass interference if it's not pass interference. But, we'll see.
I want to stick there with DBs.
Okay.
Because I know that you want to talk about your boy Martin Emerson. He had a great game. Our guy, Greg Newsome, who I know you've at times been critical of, also a great game. Let's see. Emerson, 2 interceptions, 3 knockdown passes. For Newsome, it was 5 tackles. He broke up 4 passes, 1 interception for him. Defense altogether had 4 takeaways, 4 sacks, and 10 pass defense. So what were your takeaways from all of that? Because give us your energy on this one. Because you have, as a DB, you've been critical before.
Frank, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at Gab because that word pass defense.
It was giving me a hard time.
It was giving her a hard time. I told her, just say pass breakup. Be done with it. Same thing.
The reason it bothers me is it's a lot like in baseball.
Right.
For the longest, they were like, technically, you just say RBI.
Yeah.
And that's it. But we always say
RBIs. Yeah.
So it's one of those weird ones where it's like, would it be 10 passes defense? I get caught up, but I get 10 pass defense, or we could just say 10 broken up passes.
Yeah. Frank, I'm glad she went there about those DBs because I was a little disappointed, and I'll tell you why, because our number 1 guy, talking about Denzel Ward, missed his 3rd consecutive game, and it was for his shoulder. And I understand, if you're hurt, you're hurt. You can't play, but boy, I tell you what, this is 4 games I think already he's missed this season. So and Emerson, man, this kid is something else. I mean, this kid out of Mississippi State, who we brought in here and we drafted, I mean, it's just been a true warrior. He goes out there yesterday and he's fighting. I mean, he's battling. And I'm watching his technique, and I'm just saying, wow, this kid is really getting better. Comes up with 2 big interceptions. I think he had, like you said, he broke up 4 passes. There were several tackles that he was in on. I thought he had his best game. I thought he had an outstanding game. And I think right now this year, I think he's up to like 4 interceptions, INTs, that he's got going right now on this football team. Greg Newsome, got to give him a lot of credit. I mean, I thought he played well. I thought he bounced back, and I think he had 1 interception, and he was out there battling. And he brought in the kid Cameron Mitchell, who we drafted this year, and he played extremely well. Got to give Grant Delpit, whatever his name is.
Now you're struggling.
Yeah, I'm struggling. You got me struggling now. But we got to give him a lot of credit. I mean, he played a good game, but he should have played well because he just got a 3-year extension for about $36 million. So he got his bank. So he played well.
There was a little spice in that little dance he had out there when he.
Yeah. You could tell. But Frank, I think secondary. I mean, and it all comes together. I mean, the defensive line, the linebackers, and the secondary, you all have to play as one. But I thought they were out there battling, and they played well.
No, I agree. I think they got great chemistry on defense, from the front line to the safeties. I like the way those guys play. They're aggressive. They play with an attitude. They play with an attitude that they're not going to lose. I love it. I think they are better with Denzel Ward in the game. I know he's had some injury problems, but Hanford, this better than me. It's you got to take care of yourself. You can only play this game for so long, and you don't want to go out there and jeopardize what could be a long and fruitful career because you're trying to play through some injury, and but I thought the guys that came in and filled in the blanks yesterday. I mean, like you said, Newsom. I think Newsom is emerging as a leader on that defense, especially in the secondary. I love the way he plays the game with a lot of emotion. He makes plays.
Yeah.
The bottom line is in defense, they're making plays. And the Browns yesterday beat a good team. That Jacksonville Jaguar team is a good team. It's well coached. And the Browns beat them. And that is a great sign for the Browns going forward because, you want to catch fire in December. And, I see the Browns doing that.
Well, you know what, too? And you talk about a good football team, Gab. They are a good football team because they're in that AFC South, atop of the division, and they have two teams. They had two teams that are breathing down their neck, talking about the Colts and also Houston. Both of them, I think, are 7-5, and they're breathing down Jacksonville's neck. So that was a big, big game for Jacksonville. They needed that game. They needed to win that football game, and we just put it on their butt. So I'm all excited about that.
Frank, thanks so much for giving us your time. It's always great to hear from you. We'll definitely have you back on. We've got to take another break, but yeah, such a pleasure.
He's going to say
Gab.
something. That's all you got to say?
What? Thanks, Hanford. Thanks, Gab.
Come
Appreciate
on,
being
big
on the
dog. Big dog. No, I'm kidding with you.
Him and his sunglasses.
I love those glasses. Frank, put your hood on, baby. Let me
It's his
see you with your
trademark.
hood on.
Brother, next time.
Okay.
Next time. He's got to
I'll
save it for the next one. Frank, thank you so
Right.
much. We'll be back after
You're
this.
welcome.
Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. I'm Gabriella Cruz alongside the top dog. I guess you don't need a bark right now.
Well, I was
wasn't trying to
I
make
was
you
getting
move.
ready to, but
Okay.
but that's
you
okay.
looked at me like, I don't know about that. I'm going to save that for the end of the show. That's fine.
This girl is crazy. Listen to this. Before you jump into our next guest, I have to tell you this. So
Yes.
I
please
forgot
do.
to tell you, and I was going to tell you in our opening, but I was walking through the stadium yesterday, and someone stopped me, and they said, and they start talking about you, and then they said, "Man, you just don't know that girl could sing." I said, "She could sing." I said, "Where?" He said, "Listen to me. She can sing." So I had to tell you that. Someone stopped me and they wanted to talk about your singing.
What
And
did I say?
of course, I told him.
You told him I can't sing.
That's right.
Beans.
You're exactly
I
right.
know how you
know
are.
what I said,
You roasted
right?
me. Thanks for roasting me because you know I get awkward about compliments on air, but I am super psyched. And did I tell you I'm back in the studio? I'll be recording December 20th through the 22nd. So I got some stuff cooking.
Good
And
for you.
I'm gonna release a
Good for you.
acapella Amazing Grace on my Instagram
Good for
here
you.
shortly
Good
too
for you.
for the holiday season. But enough about me. We've got our guest JT of Montrose Auto Group joining us as always for our fan reaction.
Yay, JT,
Glad to
my
be
man,
back in here,
my
guys.
man.
We love having you. And I saw him at the game.
Yep.
I wasn't trying to big league you. I was hustling to the bathroom and trying to get a coffee. I know those two
I know how it
don't make
goes.
sense to each other, but
JT,
I
she
was hustling up
does
the
the
steps.
same thing to me too. I see her at the game.
I know.
I try to stop and talk to her.
And she's on a
act
mission.
like she doesn't
She
know
was on a
who
mission
the hell
yesterday.
I am. She just
Absolutely.
keep going.
No,
you
I
know.
was like, "There's our guy."
Why
One of
would
the
you do
kids,
that to
I've been
JT?
seeing him all over the place too. Feed the need. He's a man of the people. I gotta
Try
say.
to be.
You should be ashamed
to
of
be.
yourself.
Oh, you
JT.
stop it,
So,
Hanford.
so Hanford, I gotta ask.
Okay.
With your connections at the Browns,
Okay.
why don't we get her sing the national anthem?
I
know?
have to get ready.
JT,
I have
you-
to get over my nerves for that one.
You want everyone to enjoy the game, right? I mean, you want everyone to enjoy the
Oh,
game.
yeah, that was
Trust
a
me.
low blow.
Trust me, if she sings the national anthem, boy, that's a bad sign already. No,
You
I'm
don't
kidding.
even know,
I'm
Hanford.
kidding.
You
She
don't
really,
know.
she really can sing. I'm just kidding.
I
You know
believe
that.
she could sing. Absolutely.
She's
Is it-
pretty good.
Yesterday, it started off. The gal that did sing the national anthem, I was at the game. She did a great job, and the rest of the game did not disappoint.
There we go.
So our boy Flacco, which is hard for me to say, but was impressive.
it is hard for you to say.
He was with the enemy for how long?
I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
understand.
You know, and
I do
just
understand.
dominated us. And it's nice to see, we've got somebody that resembles a Tom Brady.
Yes.
Is what it feels like.
I love his veteran presence.
Yep.
I don't know about you. You were just bringing this up, though, prior to the show. The fact that
Yeah.
Flacco was the first Browns quarterback
Yeah.
since 1980, Brian Sipe.
Yep.
To do what?
To have 3 touchdown passes in one game of over 30 yards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Think about
he
that.
threw for over 300 yards. I mean,
Yeah.
even the betting lines had him at, what is he going to throw over 200 or what?
Yeah, I think it might have been 220 was the over-under on his pass yardage attempts. But it was impressive to watch yesterday. Sitting there, every pass, I mean, there was a handful of them.
Yeah.
But he seems so poised, so confident, and he throws a very, very catchable ball.
Mm-hmm.
And Hanford, you've been around the league playing, and even post after your career was over, there's something to be said about quarterbacks that throw catchable balls versus, a BB.
Mm-hmm.
What's kind of your take on that?
And this is what I like about him, guys. I mean, when you see Flacco, now when he releases that ball, you could tell he's getting a lot more really comfortable with this offense and with his teammates and with the wide receivers because obviously Moore is a guy that he's played with, Elijah Moore. He played with him before. Yep. But now you could see Cooper, and then you could see this kid Bale, who had the big play. A big play. I think that was one of the biggest plays in the game. All of them are big plays when you score.
Was that, 4th and 3?
Yeah, it was on 4th down. To have the guts to go back and just drop and sling that thing on 4th down like this and for that big play. But what you see Flacco now, he's starting to release the football before the receivers even come out of their break.
With the anticipation. Even that one pick that he threw, which the defender totally knocked. Who was that? Tillman that got knocked on his butt?
Yeah, and that's what happened. You and I and you, Gab, we all understand that particular play really wasn't Flacco's fault.
No.
Because he was throwing the ball where the receiver was supposed to be.
Right.
And you're right, the receiver got picked and he couldn't get there. So the defensive back was just right there to take over that play.
Yep.
But Flacco, there is no way that we can go back right now to DTR.
No.
And obviously we don't have to go to PJ because we got rid of him.
Yeah, no, he's gone.
But there's no way that we can go back to DTR. This kid, this guy, man, well, he's not a kid, but you know what I mean.
He's a man. He's 38 years old, and he brings a certain level of confidence to the team. There, you can just tell that there's poise with all 52 guys on that roster right now.
JT, we're running out of time here. Give us the quick plug for Montrose Auto Group, of course, before we send you out of here.
Well, we're in the month of December, which year-end, right around the corner. It's hard to believe 23 is almost over.
Wow.
Man, it goes fast, don't it?
Right.
Wow.
But we've got some great incentives, some great programs are coming from the manufacturers right now. I know Kia's got a couple different vehicles that are lease offers under $300 a month right now. Just go to gomontrose.com. You can see all of our dealership franchises across Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania. And check it out. Let us know.
We also like your new commercial run.
Hey, I
knew you was gonna hit it with that. I knew. He's got a football in his hand, and I like it. At the end, what is he? What was that at the end? What you guys always say?
Yeah, you got a friend at Montrose. One of my partners, the guy that runs the stores out in Ashtabula, he likes to steal my line.
Okay, sure.
And Todd does that consistently, and it's kind of a theme, especially out in the Ashtabula market. Everybody knows who Todd is.
Yes.
And born and raised out there. But, yeah, he just busts right through, and he always steals it.
Can you hit that line for us?
Yeah, everybody knows you've got a friend at Montrose.
My man.
Thank you so much. We're going to take another break. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. I'm Gabriella Cruz alongside the top dog. We had two great guests once again. Always nice to hear from JT of Montrose Auto Group.
And Frank is so funny, isn't he?
He is. He's a weird bird.
He's a
Love
nut.
it. Yeah.
You're right. He is a nut. He comes on.
His sunglasses. He's so committed to the bit.
I was waiting on you to ask him about that. Was he outside? Was there sun? And we know
Was it too many Christmas sales for him? We don't know. I think it's just his vibe, though.
No, he won't tell you, but I guarantee you he had a few. Yeah, because that was so funny. You missed something, though. He almost let slip. I won't tell anybody about it, but it was funny. I was laughing. I said, "Big dog, you clean that one up real good." And he just laughed when he was talking about the
security.
Yeah.
On the road trip.
So you
Don't worry, guys. It didn't go over my head. You crazy guys. You crazy fellas. Hey, I want to ask you about the AFC North since you chatted so much during Who would have thought you were just Miss Chatty Cathy on your own show today? We're running out of time, but quickly, tell me what you think of the AFC North.
You know, and it's still, we talked about it at the beginning of the year as being one of the strongest divisions in the National Football League, and it's still proven to be that way because if the season, if the playoffs started right now today, all 4 teams will be in the playoffs. All 4 of them. And but obviously the jewel of the AFC North is the Baltimore Ravens right now. They are a gab. I mean, obviously 10-3 right now.
Yeah.
And they're playing extremely well. I mean, they won yesterday. Yeah. We can get him anytime. He doesn't have a choice. Come on, when we call him when we want him, he better be there. But Gab, they play and the Rams right now are playing good football. I mean, they're a good football team, and they pushed the Ravens to the limit yesterday. And the Ravens finally pulled it off in overtime with the punt return touchdown that they won. And then, Gab, right when we thought the Cincinnati Bengals were dead, Joe Burrow is hurt. He's out. And they are just, all of a sudden, they're coming back and they're winning. And they're winning convincingly. I mean, they beat the Colts. And the Colts had something to play for because the Colts are right there tied for second in the AFC South, with Jacksonville Jaguars being the top team there, and the Colts are tied with Houston. So that was a big game yesterday for them, and they lost. The Cincinnati Bengals beat them, and obviously we know the Pittsburgh Steelers. They played and they lost on Thursday Night Football. Pittsburgh need to get it together for their sake. It doesn't bother me with them losing. I mean, it doesn't hurt my feelings. Let's just all I care about is that orange and brown, and we just keep winning and we just. Keep it going in that AFC North. But the AFC North is a tough division, and
we're competitive.
And it's competitive, and it's very, 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 very strong division.
All right. I know this was a little more brief of a segment, but we got to take one more break so we can get out of here. Thanks so much for watching the Hanford Dixon Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. I'm Gabriella Cruz. We got all of our bases covered today, I think, Hanford. What did we chat about now? You want to give your input as we wrap up here on Kevin Stefanski? We really didn't talk about him too much, but what are your thoughts on him? How much credit does he deserve for this Browns win?
You know, I think he deserves all the credit. I mean, because he is the head man. I mean, everything goes through him. Sure, I'm not happy with some of his play callings at certain times of the ball game, but I think Stefanski's done a really good job with this football team. When you look at everything that has happened with all the different quarterbacks that he's had to go through, but he's put together this team, and him and Barry and the defense. I'm telling you, the defense has just been awesome. We just got to get them to play on the road, really well. But I give Kevin Stefanski a passing grade right now.
All right.
He's playing pretty well.
And we look ahead to the Bears. What do you expect of the outcome of this game? Who's going to have to really have a great game for us to get another dub?
Well, you know what's crazy? Because initially, looking at the schedule, the way the Bears have been playing before lately, we thought that was just going to be a win for us. But now, all of a sudden, they're playing extremely well. This football team, Justin Fields, has got new life over there. So this is not going to be an easy game. But the good thing about it, we're playing them at home. So, but I still feel good about our chances. We have a quarterback right now in Flacco. And we're playing them at home, so the defense is going to play lights out. They're going to play extremely well. So I think we're going to be okay. I think we'll end this ball game with 9 wins. So that's what I'm hoping. And I have to tell you this: you better start. I really know you could sing. I've been giving you a hard time about your singing.
Here he goes again.
So my birthday is Christmas Day.
I know, you and Jesus himself.
So you
That's where you got your complex.
So you better start practicing right now because I want you on the air. Mm-hmm. You gotta sing "Happy Birthday" to the top dog.
Happy birthday. Not too early. Not yet.
So you get it together and get it going for me, Gab.
Okay, we'll do. We got to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching the Hanford Dixon